Alright, so welcome back to another gun build in Modern Warfare. Today we're going to be looking at one of the worst builds that you can possibly do for a certain gun in Modern Warfare. Now I'm going to be making this its own playlist because right now I have enough videos to do so. And I'll be going over probably one extra version of a certain shotgun on here, and it's... actually no. We pretty much already made it by now. But let's go ahead and go over one of the worst guns again in Modern Warfare, or the worst build that you can make out of the guns. Now let's go ahead and start off with using the Origin 12 shotgun. Now this is the Modern Warfare 2019 remastered, or not remastered, but 2019 version of the Brecci shotgun from Black Ops 3. So by default, this gun's not really good when it comes to range. It's supposed to be more of a very, very up close range shotgun. It's semi-automatic and it does very little damage to compensate for that really fast fire rate. So today we're going to make it to where it is going to be absolute garbage. Now on its base stats, this shotgun does have quite a bit of recoil. On its base version, it does have quite a bit, but like I said, it's supposed to be only be spammed up close, like really up close, so they can get away with having a massive amount of recoil because you're not supposed to use it any other way or any other location. But we're going to use that to our advantage to make the worst shotgun, or our disadvantage I should say. And we're going to make it to where it is close range like it is now. It's going to be really close range, but it's going to be actually worse than it is at base stats. So let's go ahead and get started. For the barrel, we want to go with the Forged Tac, a wide shot, which will decrease the damage range by about 25%, which is a pretty good chunk of its range, which is already incredibly low. I mean like probably about 2 meters. Yeah, about 2 meters, or 6 feet. It is incredibly awful. I mean, it takes 2 shots to kill someone with this kind of shotgun, so it's awful. So this thing drops it down by about 25%. So I mean, you have to be really point blank range in order to kill someone with this already. On top of that, we can make it even worse. So I'm going to go to muzzle, and we want to go down to lightweight suppressor. Now this will give us sound suppression, which is one upside. Cons being damage range, which takes another 25% down. So now it's going about 50% its normal range, or shotgun range, which is already trash. So from here, it's already useless. I mean, you have to be touching someone with this shotgun in order to kill them with it. It is that bad. But we're going to make it even worse because this is going to be the most garbage gun you can get, aside from a couple other ones I will post in a playlist. So we want to make that even worse. So we want to go to ammunition, and we want to go with the 8-round slug mag. Now this will swap your 12 gauge buckshot, which is very accurate in hip firing or hip fire spread, so you can hit a larger area, and you do have the capability of killing more than one person if they're bunched up. This will make it to where it now shoots out a rifle round, or more or less a DMR or sniper round, depends on what kind of shotgun you have. But for the Origin, just like its normal damage output, it is very low, even for slug rounds. So it does take about 2 to 3 shots to kill someone. It's much weaker than any other shotgun in the game, aside from the VLK Rogue. So now it hits very low, has almost no range to it, even with the 8-round slug magazine. So now this makes it to where it's really awful in close range combat and really awful in long range because it has no range to it because of these 2 attachments. And we can make that even worse. We're going to go ahead and go to stock, and we're going to remove it entirely. Now this does give you movement speed, like this one right here. This will give you wider pellet spread and stuff, and it'll make it to where you have a aim down sight speed deal, and this one makes it have a massive aim down sight speed. But aim down sight, or movement speed, will be bumped up a little bit, but it incredibly injures your recoil control, which is absolutely awful. From there, we would just want to give you a tac laser, because we're going to have to fill it in. So we're not going to be using an optic because we want to make it as awful as they possibly can get at long range. Unfortunately, shotguns don't have sniper scopes, or I would use it to make it even worse, because sniper scopes have a little bit of a weird recoil hindering to it. So that's essentially what we're going to be using right here, and I'll be jumping into a game and I'll show you how bad this thing really is. So I'm going to go ahead and set up a game. I want to go to rules, and we're going to turn off the crank timer so you can actually get the feel for this. And let's turn up the bots to 6. Recruit, because we sure are going to need them on recruit for this. Now alongside this I'll be using the AK for more or less for a backup, even though it's for the primary section. But that's what I'm just going to be using for now. And let's go ahead and jump into it. Now I'm not saying this gun is completely useless, but it is very, very close to getting there.
Team deathmatch.
As you can see, it does aim down sight pretty quickly.
Enemy at the center.
That's with it controlling. To be honest with you, I think there was a point where those bots were actually not being able to get shot because of that. And not to mention, because of all the barrel attachment and the suppressor, bullet velocity is incredibly slow. So bullet drop is definitely a thing on here for longer ranges, of course.
Lost mine.
That's what it looks like when you shoot it rapidly like that. This is for a different video. So, like I said, it's not useless, but it sure is close to it. This is it trying to fire from the hip. It's just awful, as much as you can possibly get it. Well, I mean, that's what you kind of get, I guess. So this is what I mean. It's pretty dang awful. It's a shotgun, as you can see, for the pellet spread, or the fire spread for it. It's pretty dang awful. I mean, it is shooting out slugs, so it's second worst to being a assault or a sniper rifle in the hipfire category. It's like in the DMR section now, but it doesn't have the DMR output. So it takes a total of 3 shots. Normally, any other DMR would take about 2. And this is a shotgun, so it's not even supposed to be able to do that. Now this is what happens when I take off the slug rounds. So I just throw on, let's say, actually no, let's go ahead and take that off. Let's throw on granulated, which doesn't do anything for me. See that?
Reloading.
See how low that range is? So if there's really 2 ways for you to run that. You can either run slugs that make it to where it's completely awful, except for, well, actually it is pretty dang awful at close range, but there's almost no range to the shotgun at all. I mean, it is awful.
Changing mags.
Doesn't mean it won't melt people up close. I mean, you have to get really, really up close to it, but you can do it. The fire spread is massive, so
Fire. Changing mag.
takes too many shots, but like again, like it is really awful. And this is as worst as you could possibly get. As you can see, the hip fire spread is stuck in a very massive position. It could probably get even worse, but who knows. See that? From there, normally any other shotgun will at least get a hit marker off of them. Most likely will get a hit marker off. But this thing doesn't. It takes forever to actually hit someone. So on top of the massive spread in pellet spread, it makes it to where the pellets won't group up in one area, so you don't get as much damage output in one concentrated area. So that means you've got to be closer to them in order for them to kill them. And there's eventually just a cutoff point where they just don't do anything, to kind of just disappear off at a certain point. Now what you could do, if you really want to meme on people and you can make it incredibly awful, you could take off the tac laser and throw on like the 25 round mag, You just go around spamming this, but it's not really, again, it's not really overpowered. You don't have any range to it, so you can just run around with something like this. It's a hit marker machine, I can tell you that. So you're going to get several hit markers before you actually kill anyone. Like that. I mean, that guy was like just a couple of feet in front of me. Took 2 hit markers and then another shot to kill him. Surprisingly, the reload times for this shotgun is incredibly fast, even for something like this. But there you go. I mean, this is one of the worst weapons in the game. I will be making other videos and stuff set up for the playlist and things, and I'll just kind of re-upload them. So if you miss them, I can go ahead and throw them back on there. And I'll also, again, if you guys want to try this thing out, by all means, go ahead. It is one of the worst weapons in the game. I recommend, if you really want to make it challenging, throw on the slug rounds and give it a whirl. This thing sucks as a shotgun because it's the Origin 12. It has the lowest damage output in the whole shotgun section, the whole shotgun category. It might actually change if they add in the AA-12 next season, but for right now, it is the worst hitting one. You can use that for the slug rounds, and it'll take at least 3 shots in the upper chest at least to kill someone, which most DMRs will kill them in 1 to 2 shots. So that's not really good for this kind of gun.
Enemy at the fortress.
And on top of that, it's a shotgun, so it doesn't have the kind of range that a sniper rifle or DMR would have. So that's already a downfall. Yeah, so that's already a downfall for it, and it, you know, again, doesn't have the damage output, and the recoil's pretty dang awful. So there we are. I hope you guys enjoy the video. If you guys would want to, it definitely help me out by dropping a like or subscribe for any of you guys that are new to the channel if you ever come across here. I make videos every so often going over junk like this. Just ways for you to meme on people. That was like 6 hit markers in a row there, yeah, but I make them just to meme on people. I have a bunch of them going over some overpowered class builds and things that you can use, mostly revolving around SMGs and or shotguns. Some other things as well that may be broken. And that's really what this thing consists of. Doesn't mean I won't change it up and then put in different things in there. I'm really going off of what you guys want from me, or what you guys want me to post on this channel. So as long as you guys give me recommendations, I'll see what I can do to get them happening, or see if I can get them happen. And again, I appreciate every one of you guys that watch these videos and stuff. I'm actually growing a little bit on the channel. I started out with at least 4 people that I knew subscribed, and now it's last time I checked it's 12, maybe a little bit more or a little less. And I appreciate all you guys watching out here. And I'll see you guys in the next one.